you are here because something feels off. Something feels very wrong. It's not because you found a text message. It's not because he comes home later than usual, but because your nervous system is screaming at you. Your gut is trying to tell you that things are not as rosy as they seem. I'm here to give you some observational tools for you to really consider and think about whether to approach your partner with curiosity, to ask him questions about his behavior, or when the evidence eventually comes up, your body will be less stressed up and you are able to approach the problem with more respect, clarity of mind, and just an overall better mental well-being. Firstly, what is his baseline behavior? What exactly do I mean by this? This is his regular, safe, comfortable, and unguarded behavior. You know, the way in which he usually talks, the way in which he usually carries out his daily routine, the one that makes him feel safe. Now, if there's a sudden change in his level of comfort, safety, and just overall sense of security, that's a sign. I'll give you an example. His phone becomes part of his body. He brings it almost everywhere. And he usually does not do that. And phones end up face down most of the time. Red flag. Another example is he dresses and he behaves a lot differently than his baseline and regular behavior. Applies a different type of cologne, wears different types of clothing. He does things that relating to his appointments that he don't usually do. For example, booking of seemingly more expensive meeting places. That's another thing to take note of. Now we shift into body language cues. My area of specialty, when you ask him a question, notice signs in which he shows his threat response. You see, he's not being evil. Because cheating comes into the picture, his body's stress response goes up a notch and he views you as a threat to his secret. Because of that, his natural body language changes and you can pinpoint all these seemingly subtle cues that adds up to become extremely clear signs. So, firstly, when you ask him a question, there's a very subtle no in a question that requires a yes. For example, if you ask him, "Do you still love me?"
I love
Of
you.
course. Why wouldn't I love you? It's a very subtle shake of the head. it might be just a slight shift to one side. Second body language cue, he hides his most vulnerable areas. His heart, the entire upper body, chest and torso region. When you ask him a question that makes him feel extremely uncomfortable, he usually shifts his body, especially his legs, feet pointing to a direction that he wants to escape to, and his chest might be
He's protecting his chest, his emotional core.
Almost entirely away from you. Or if he has an object, he will put the object in between you and himself as a protective barrier because he can't really stand the discomfort any longer. And you should take note that people who are trying to deceive you will try their very best to make full eye contact with you. Despite what you read about experts saying, liars will try to avoid eye contact. These days, even liars read books and watch videos on body language because they want to close any kind of gaps that they can to prevent others from finding out that they are being dishonest. So what will they do? Full stare, because they think that people will think that if I'm making full eye contact means I'm being extremely honest. But they completely forgot that overly aggressive eye contact, forced eye contact, is one of the clearest signal that someone is being extremely dishonest. That's the second thing. The third thing relates to his overall behavior. Does he suddenly become overly emotional, giving you extra gifts?
It's guilt-driven overcompensation.
More often than usual? Yeah? Well, that's his emotional overregulation. It's his mind telling him to start to do something because he's feeling guilty of his dishonesty. So he tries to find ways to overcompensate, give you extra gifts, spend extra hours with you. Everything comes in extra packages. That's overcompensation, and that's one of the clearest red flags. Remember that cues should be read as a cluster and not individually. What do I mean by this? Let's say you are taking his non-verbal cues, his body language. Now, if he starts shifting in your mind, you start to think of what I've just said, and you might come to the conclusion that he's being dishonest. But you can't just take one body language cue and form a judgment and opinion on educated guess. There's a very good chance that their reading might be inaccurate. Why? Because that could be his just general behavior. His general behavior pattern is what he does all the time, whether he cheats or not. So if that's his normal behavior, mannerism, and body language pattern, you can't use that as a signal to decode his honesty and sincerity. So remember, read it as a cluster. He starts to shift, eye contact becomes shifty, starts to fold his arm and fidget all the time. 3 or more body language gestures will give you a more accurate gauge. In conclusion, I would like to say that eventually when you find evidence, it's always respectful to approach with curiosity rather than accusations. Ask questions relating to his behavior, not giving an opinion and judgment about his character. You know what I'm talking about. Mention about behavior, what he did, not you are a liar and a cheat and a disgusting person, or whatever words
your nervous system is screaming at you.
Say when you are upset, angry, and stressed out. Why? Because you want to come across as the better person. And do not dig into his phones, look through his private messages and work matters. If he prefers to keep it private, respect his privacy, because you are the better person. Treat others with respect, and if he truly respects your curiosity, he himself will disclose what he feels is the right thing to do. So take note of these signs and have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.
Trust your eyes, not your panic. Stay calm. Stop hunting for proof like a detective. Your body already knows the truth. Watch his stress levels. If his routine changes, his nervous system is screaming. That's a red flag. Busted. If his mouth says love you, but his head shakes no, believe the head. Always.
Turning away?
That's shield mode. He's protecting his chest and his secrets. Too many gifts suddenly? That's not romance. That's guilt trying to buy your silence. Trust your eyes, not your panic. Stay calm. The truth always comes out. Take care.